Hey everybody, Ace here. Compound interest is something that has been beaten up over and over again, like me when I was younger. But seriously, it's a topic that's been taught about in schools, talked on YouTube, it's even been a TED Talk. The reason being, it is extremely important. So, what is compound interest? To put it simply, it's having your money make you more money without even having to do anything. So yes, I am saying you can make money while you sleep. To be technical, it is earning interest on your interest. So let me run you through an example using myself and one of my 401ks. The last 4 years of working, I have managed to save $25,000 in my 401k. Now, let's say I make 8% interest on that $25,000, giving me a $2,000 return. I will now have $27,000 at the end of the year. Now, without even investing anything more into my 401k, that money will continue to grow. Let's take a look at year 2. My starting balance is $27,000, and again, I earn 8% interest on that $27,000. At the end of year 2, I'll have $29,000. As you can see, it continues to compound on itself without me even touching it. I can sleep and I'm making money on top of my money. After 10 years, my $25,000 is now worth over $53,000. I am doubling my money without having to do anything. Let's look at 20 years out. My $25,000 investment is now worth over $100,000. That is the magic of compound interest. I know some of you might be thinking, all right, Ace, that's cool and all, but I don't have $25,000 in my 401k. And an 8% return is very unrealistic. All right, fine. I hear you. Let's take more of a conservative look at things. So let's say you have $10,000 in your 401k and you're only getting 5% interest on that. So starting year 1, you have $10,500, 5% off the 10k. Well, we're just going to rep that out for a few years, and at the end of year 10, you're at $16,000. Understand that it's not as significant because you don't have money piling on top of money, but that's still $6,000 you gained in 10 years without having to do a single thing, without having to put any additional money into your 401k. And if we look all the way out to year 20, you have $26,000. You made 16 grand not having to do a single thing. Compounding interest works magic on your accounts if you just have the time to let it do so. Compounding interest requires mainly 2 things for it to work. The first being is money, and you don't even really have to have a lot of it to start with. And the second, which is the most major component, and that is patience. You have to be in it for the long game. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Compound interest is a long-term investing strategy where you don't even see the fruits of your labor until 10, 20, even 30 years down the road. So it pays to have time. The more time you have, the larger growth you're going to see. For someone who is impatient or doesn't see the benefit in compounding interest, you're going to miss out on some significant opportunities in your later years by delaying investing in your earlier years. It's better to start early than to not start at all. I know there's a lot of you out there that are probably thinking, Ace, the stock market's at an all-time high. The Dow Jones is above 27,000. The S&P 500 is above 3,200. The Fed's just out there printing money like they're at a never-ending strip club. Why would I get in now? I'm just going to wait till it crashes and then hop in when it does. Well, let me tell you, that's where you're wrong. Let me run you through some examples from the last couple decades to show you why it's more important to invest now than to wait for the dip. Let's take the time frame from 1995 to 2000. And let's say you didn't invest anything at all during that time frame because the market just kept setting record highs year after year. You would have missed out on the NASDAQ going from 1,000 to 5,000 in just that 5-year time frame. You would have missed out on 5 years of compounding interest during market highs. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, Ace, I wasn't even old enough to save, let alone invest during that time frame. Okay, I hear you. I understand. So let's get into a more recent example then. At the beginning of 2018, the S&P 500 was trading for roughly around 2,700. And if you thought, man, that's really high, you know what? I'm just going to go sit on the sidelines and I'm going to wait for it to drop 500 points and then I'll hop in. That'll be my buy point. Well, you would have never bought in at all. And you definitely would have missed out on the 3 consecutive highs that the S&P 500 hit in 2018 alone. And the rally continued all the way through 2019. You actually would have never bought in for 2 whole years. You would have missed out on record highs set over and over again and a lot of compounding interest on your money. Now, let's talk about 2020. In the beginning of 2020, the market again was setting record highs. But then the COVID-19 of 2020 hit the stock market and it crashed. But if you were like me, you would have thought, hey, man, the market's down 30% from its all-time highs. I'm just going to wait another 10% and then I'm going to jump in. Well, then you would have missed buying in at the bottom and the continuous rally that we've had for the last 4 months. And you would have missed out on a lot of compounding interest on your gains. So what I'm really just trying to tell you is, it doesn't matter when you buy in, just buy in. Compounding interest is the long man's game. You have to be able to ride out the ups and downs and see the long picture further down the road. It doesn't matter what the market does tomorrow. It could drop 50% tomorrow. But you have to be thinking, what's it going to do 10, 20, 30 years down the road? Let me honestly ask you this. Do you think the stock market is going to be worth more or less 30 years from now? I personally think it's going to be worth more. So I'm better off investing my money day in and day out for the long term rather than waiting for the next big crash to get in then. Lastly, I will leave you with 3 ways to utilize compounding interest. First, start early and start young. It's like the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The next best time is today. The younger you start, or the earlier you start, the longer compounding interest will work for you. Second, reinvest your dividends in your earnings. If your stock goes up, if you get dividends from your stock, put it back into your portfolio and watch it grow. And third, it's a simple one, but don't take any unnecessary risk that could jeopardize your portfolio. Remember, slow and steady wins the race. If you like this video, please just tap that thumbs up button for me. That'll really help with the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe below. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any questions on compounding interest or anything I talked about. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.